I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Daryl Fimple and the Mouth Brent Bender. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors. The Coaches Pod Network is powered by Lindsey and Associates. Player of the Week is sponsored by C.R. Crawford and Construction. Also, Sports Clips, Monetary Lending, The Collective, and Ben's Apartment, the Pigs Brand, and we are the official podcast of the ARFCA. Well, Daryl, let's get into it. Bunch of big games last week. Rogers answered the question. Let's start up here in Northwest Arkansas. They answered the question against Fayetteville. Got another big game this week. Just looks like things are really shaking up in that league. Really big Rivercrest Colts back in the winning way against Newport. Huge win. And Mark Kelly, the professor, takes down Benton. What a wild weekend.
All that you just said, that the Fayetteville Rogers game, there was almost 1,200 yards of total offense. 1,200 yards of total offense. I mean, it was an unbelievable game there. Just back and forth. They ended up blocking a PAT to win that one. Rivercrest, I mean, they went out to a big, huge lead, held on there at the end. Our Colts are back rolling, and by golly, let's get our guys a Colt burger early.
Yeah, come on, guys.
The third, fourth quarter, we're hungry down there.
Yeah, man. What
We're
we
all
doing?
angry on the tele. I think that's affecting our defensive prowess up there. But yeah, our Colts are rolling back again. Greenwood got off to a slow start, got back into it against Russellville. And like we said before, the West is going to shake out, and
Yeah.
I mean it's going to be a battle every week. Rogers got another big, huge opponent this week.
Well, they do. And then, Southside beat Lake Camden. You got Shiloh taking care of business with Mountain Home. What a good ball game. But some big 4A games coming up this week, some big 5A, a lot of small schools, but there are also some big school games also. So, well, let's go ahead and do this. Let's get going here. Who's our player of the week this week?
Player of the week this week is Jeff Reagan, the quarterback at Rogers.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker. Listen to these stats. He carried it 27 times, by the way. We just ran quarterback power a lot. 27 times for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 8 of 11 for 143 yards to the air and 2 touchdowns. He accumulated over 400 yards of total offense himself. And so Jeff Reagan's going to be our player of the week this week.
Well, he had an amazing game. There's no doubt about it. Got tied up and boom.
That was also the first win since 1994 for Rogers at Fayetteville. Think about that.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was like 2004. I was only a decade off. Good.
Yeah.
Lord.
94, first time they've ever beat on.
Lord have mercy. Well, who's our big school O-line?
Big school O-line, the Bryant Hornets.
Wow.
Let me tell you about those guys. They were smashing some folks. Got in, homecoming week. All the distractions. They kind of that was a tight game there at half, and then they just kind of opened it up. They got the three-headed monsters at run back, but it all starts up front with number 70, Aiden Allen, the right tackle. He's a monster of a man. Kennedy Perry's the right guard, number 74, 67. Michael Ruckers, the center. Left guard's Chase Trimble, number 63. Left tackle's Hunter Brown, number 68, and those guys move bodies. And like I said earlier, Aiden Allen, he's every cornerback's nightmare. I mean, the guys are trying to hide underneath the turf when they see number 70. And he does an amazing job of pulling. And you can't leave out their tight end, Cooper Billingsley. He comes over, and they follow him a lot too, number 87. So that's our big school offensive line of the week is Bryant Hornets. Our small school offensive line of the week is the Salem.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Every
5-0, 2-0 in the conference. They're led by number 55, their right tackle, Carson Kattenbach. Their left guard, number 65, Jaden Dawson. Their center is Colton Stewart, number 56. Number 52 is Keaton Ziegler. And our left tackle is number 60, Caden Costner. No kidding to Kevin, I don't think. I don't think it's given to Kevin. And they're tight end. You got to remember about the big Cole Steeman guy, 6'6", about 225, good-looking kid on the outside. And those guys have opened up holes. Last year, they rushed for over 4,000. They're on pace to eclipse that this year. So that's pretty amazing front that you got coming back. And most of those guys are all seniors on both sides. So pretty impressive offensive lines.
No doubt. Well, let's get into it, man. Hey, speaking of, we didn't mention it on the recap. Mansfield big win over Charleston this past week.
Mansfield huge win over Charleston this week. Well, they pounded them too. And defensively, Mansfield really did a really good job of stopping the pass.
Yeah,
kind of got Charleston under wraps there and pounded it down. And that's what happens when you take the curse off. You get the
That's
curse off.
right. That's
We
right.
kept telling people, you get the curse off, get the guy in the Hall of Fame. Mansfield's, we'll talk about them here in a second.
No doubt. Well, let's go ahead. Let's hit that small school top six.
Small school top six coming in at number 6 is Mansfield.
Oh, got in
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yep, they got in
Yeah.
there, squeezed in there. The Parks kid, the quarterback's playing great for him. Of course, the Burton boys, Andrews probably leading them in rushing right now. He's over 800 yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. Their offensive line is playing really well. Like I said, though, their secondary is really stepping up. Got them off to a great start there. Number 5 is going to be, this is a drum roll right here because he's back. I think this guy's back. Huge game this week, though. Warren Lumberjacks are going to
Oh,
come in
Uncle
at number
Bo,
5.
baby. Uncle
Yeah, Bo's got
Bo.
me believing right here. We got a running game back. I think Jackson Denton's kind of settled back in at quarterback. He played really well this past week with Blaze Fellows on the outside and the rest of that crew. I mean, they've got some weapons all over the place there. Number 4, Fordyce, big win last week, 46-0 over Drew Central. Finally got to play. Fordyce's defense has given up 3.5 points. All right, by the way, 3.5 points on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you get that. 3.5 points on the season. Fordyce is taking over that 4th spot. Mills got bounced this
Yes.
week out
I
of there.
know.
So Fordyce moves into our 4th spot. Number 3 is Gosnell. They keep just
God,
pounding
they
and
do.
pounding away. 48-28 over Pocahontas. I know you're upset about that.
That
They're
was.
averaging 43 points a game coming up. They got some big games on their schedule too, but Gosnell's still rolling. Number 2 is Dardanelle. Coach Vega's got these guys going as long as he keeps Creed intact. Creed had 305 yards of total offense this past week. And I love it because they'll throw in, he had 4 tackles. 4 tackles. I don't know why we got him in, but we're
Yeah,
up
so,
56-0, 56-0 over Waldron. That's 2 back-to-back shutouts for Dardanelle's defense. They've also got another wrinkle in CJ Kirsch, who's coming on.
yes.
He had 3 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. He played a little quarterback too. He went 3 for 63 yards and a touchdown. They're averaging almost 46 yards. 46 points a game. Dardanelle and their defense is playing extremely
Yes.
stingy too on that side. Number 1, Salem. Like I
Yeah,
said, we're
man.
going to eclipse. We're about to eclipse the 4,000 yard mark. Caden Brink, Jackson Taylor are the quarterbacks playing so well right now, and that offensive line's just moving bodies. They won last week 69-12 over Episcopal, which I don't know how collegiate they were because they got sent home 69-12. So that's amazing. Also, in our also runs here, we got Elkins. Elkins is making some noise back, 61-0 over Berryville this past week. Forest City in that league is one that's coming on. They had a big win this past week. Kevin Young, the tailback there, he's over
Unbelievable.
800 yards on the season. He can play. Stuttgart came
Yes.
in the gang. Man, they got weapons. They're going to run into Warren here in a little while, so it's going to be interesting. Yes, it's going to be a great one right there. But Kane Price has got all kinds of people around him too. He does a great job running that offense there. Rivercrest, our Colts.
Yeah, we're
We're in
back,
our
buddy.
offloads, buddy. We just got to take
Yeah.
care of business. Just got to take care of business there. Prescott, that's the other one.
Yeah, Coach
He's
Glass,
got him.
man, amazing
Yeah,
job this year,
he's
man.
got them
Amazing
figured
job.
out. He's got them figured out. 55-0 winners last week over Horatio. Dalton Stockton, their quarterback's playing extremely well right now. Southside Batesville also needs a mention. Owen McLaughlin's almost over 1,000 yards on the season. Then you got Carlisle coming in there, still beating people up, kind of shifting around some quarterback stuff. EPC still mentioned, and Cross County, which we're going to see both of them get
Oh,
after
yeah.
this coming weekend. So that's our small school.
All right,
Big school.
Here we go.
Big school number 6, Bentonville West.
I like it.
Coach Pratt won his 150th game this past week. VJ Warren, the sophomore running back, they got the other running back hurt, and he's kind of taking over in that spot. He was phenomenal against Springdale this past week. They won 49-12. Joe T. Robinson still stays at number 5. Kevin Deuce Williams went over almost 200 yards of total offense this past week in a 42-7 win over Jacksonville. He's dynamic, and defensively and offensively, they're phenomenal. They're a really well put together team, Joe T is. Number 4 is Greenwood. Like I said, kind of got off to a slow start and then just exploded. Next thing you know, they're beating Russellville 50-13. Number 3, Rogers comes in there out of the West with their first win since 1994 against Fayetteville. Like I said, that game had almost 1,125 yards of total offense,
Amazing, man. It's
which is
those
amazing.
guys. I tell you, the speed those guys have is
Oh
unbelievable,
my
man.
gosh. Yes. Yes. And how does he get them in so much space?
Oh,
That was
Lord.
crazy. I mean, them dudes are, when they go empty, it's scary. Number two, Bentonville. Coach Grant got his 100th win this past week, a 34-0 victory over Northside. They were done by half, pretty much. Sum that up. They're getting great quarterback play from Stepnick Kid, and Finkel can just flat run the ball. Their offensive line is really, really good too. Number one, Bryant. Bryant pretty much was a close game and a half, really. And they just keep finding weapons too. By the way, the quarterback play, they kind of shift quarterbacks back and forth. They got to they found a little sophomore. They kind of put him in the slot a lot. His last name's Boone. He's a new weapon. I just say they've just got more weapons because they got a three-headed monster at tailback, them two wide receivers on the outside, and Austin and Tucker. And then now they add this kid in there, and their offensive line is just mauling people. So that's our big school number, our top six right there. Also being mentioned, Conway. Conway's quarterback played extremely well this
Coming
past
on.
week, and their defense played a lot better
Yes.
too. That safety, wow, he's a player. Yeah, he returned an interception for a touchdown this past week. They ran the ball better too. Little Rock Christian, I'm telling you, Little Rock Christian can scare some people, especially in the Central. Right now, they're playing really well, even though they lost 49-21 to Bryant. But like I said, it was a game for about a half. Numbers, another one, and this is going to be a quick one. This could be a guy that's entering the building because the professor has a huge game this week. Sylvan Hills pulls off another win, 40-35 over Benton this past week. They're getting mentioned. Shiloh Christian's just finding ways to score points, man. They are scoring a ton of points. Mountain Homes coach kind of said that this was the next step. Well, maybe in the playoffs because there was not the next step. 55-41 win over Mountain Home this past week. Mad Max, man, Eldridge. That Eldridge kid is like football's in his blood or something. It's crazy. Played really well. Colton Creighton still leading the state. He's over almost 1,300 yards of passing yards. Lakeside's also getting mentioned. Our Cersei Lions 56-12 wins this past week. Yeah, we let 12 points get scored on our JV defense. We had to pull them out. I don't know what we're doing there. Watts Chapel put 12 on us. Greenbrier.
Yes.
Greenbrier's on the cusp, man. Took it to
believer.
Clarksville this past week. Those guys will lean on you all day long. Very physical football team. Hot Springs, that's another one. They're making waves and nobody even knows about it right now. They're explosive on the offensive side of the football, and defensively they can guard the pass, which is amazing. They got a huge games ahead of them. They beat Hope last week 49-14. So that's all of our alsos.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to set up with a small school. The big school looks like it's set up correctly. People like Cersei, they're going to get their opportunities later on
Oh,
down the
yeah.
road because they got some big games going. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest picker, former head coach at Charleston, athletic director at Greenbrier, former guest picker before. Didn't have a great season last year with us, but it's Coach Steve Wood. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Hey,
I'm guessing that you must need some help. The guest pickers must be doing too good, so you brought me in to lower their number.
Well, no, they've been pretty bad this year. Besides Michael Carter, it's been pretty bad. Matter of fact, let's hit this. I was 8-2 last week. Coach Fimple 7-3, Mouth 7-3, and our guest picker Keith Fimple was very average at 5-5. I like to call it very average at 5-5. Coach Elmore.
Story of that guy's life. Story of that guy's life.
Yeah. I mean, just very average. I mean, what we're doing here, and then Coach Retcher and Coach Elmore were really bad. So and Randy Coleman had a good one. So those are who you're competing against. But Coach Wood, we wouldn't have you on again if we didn't believe in you.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, well, let's just jump right into it, guys. Let's head over to God's country. We got EPC, number one team in 2A, going against Cross County. He's got one of the top prospects in the state of Arkansas, and Van Pascal knows how to get it done. Daryl, this ought to be. I mean, this is maybe for the conference championship here. Talk to me.
Well, EPC's come off a 30-12 win over McCrory. Eli Blagg, their big old quarterbacks, a great player. D. Buchanan, Jacob Gaines. They've got so many explosive people on the offensive side of the football. They don't have problems scoring points at all. EPC, on the other hand, they had a huge win over Izard County, 53-6. Kel Cersei's their quarterback, Caden Crawford. This is the thing about Cross County that everybody's excited about. They have 10 players back on offense from last year and 9 on defense. So their whole offensive line's back. You got to like them at home here. Are they ready for EPC speed and experience about winning big games? That's going to be the huge question here. So I'm going to take EPC on the road.
Oh, Fimp's taking EPC. All right, Mouth, that's over here close to you. EPC's been rolling all year. Coach Van Pascal has Cross County playing well at the right time. Talk to us.
This is going to be a really, really good football game. I believe it's going to be tight the whole way through. Could be. It's going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes. Who doesn't turn the ball over? If you don't turn the ball over, you got a heck of a chance to win. That being said, the Mouth is going with EPC.
Mouth's going with EPC. Coach Wood, EPC's, they're on a mission to get to the state finals. Been there the last few years, hadn't won it. Cross County's really playing well right now.
Yeah, a couple teams didn't know a lot about until I got your list and looked into it. But I know a little bit about EPC, a little history with them from back in my Charleston days. They've always got some fast dudes out there that can go and, know how to get there to the finals. And this may be the year that they can put it all together and finish it off. So I'm going to go with the speed of EPC in this one.
Going with EPC. Coach Wood's going with EPC. I'm going with EPC. I've been on that wagon all year long, and I'm not getting off of it. I like them. Now, Van Pascal, if there's anybody out there could create an upset, it's him. But I'm going with EPC. Coach Powell, I think they're just on a mission. All right, staying over at God's Country. I can't figure this one out here. You got Osceola headed over to Newport. Newport's coming off a disappointing loss to Rivercrest. We all picked Newport, and Rivercrest got their Colt burger before the game, and then they were ready to roll. Daryl, can we even figure this one out? And so give us some stats so we can make a pick on this one.
Man,
I don't know.
One Osceola's 1-4, 1-1 in the league. Lost last week to Walnut Ridge, 48-20, where they really struggled stopping the run. All right, what does Newport do? They got Trevion Greer back there. They love to run the football. They had a hard time stopping the pass last week. Newport did, and stopping the explosive plays. Osceola, offensive line wise, is they've kind of struggled up front some too on the offensive side of it. You got Tyler Bell back. There's a quarterback from last year who started for him a couple years. This is at Newport. I think this is kind of a must win if Newport wants to make some more noise in this thing. Osceola, of course, is a must win for them to get back into it. So I'm going to take Newport at home in this one. And I have no earthly idea or reason why I'm doing that.
I'm with you. I can't figure either one of them out a little bit.
That one's got me.
Yeah, Mouth, talk to me. Not too far down the road from you, they're the Newport Greyhounds. You've been over there before. Osceola and Coach Hooks. See what they got.
Oh, it's going to be – that's a fascinating matchup. Newport's coming off. Newport can score a bunch of points. It's going to come down to, can Coach Butch Gray, can they stop Newport and Coach Hooks? And can they come up with a plan to stop the Greyhounds? If there's two coaches in the state that can do it, it's those two. That being said, the Mouth's going with Newport Greyhounds.
Oh, going with Newport also. All right, Coach Wood, you know both these real well. I can't figure them out. Osceola picked real high, off to a slow start. Newport, every time we think, boy, they're heading in the right direction, have a slip up. And then whenever time you think they're going in the wrong direction, here they come back. Talk to us about this one.
Well, that means somebody's got to win it, right?
Yeah.
But two teams that probably thought they'd be in a little different position than they are right now. Obviously, a lot of athletes on the field, good coaches over there. Kind of like Coach Fimple said, I don't know a lot of rhyme or reason to what's going on with both of them. So I'm going to go with the home team, Newport.
Going with Newport. I'm with everybody here. I'm going with Newport too, and I have no rhyme or reason. I think they can score the ball. Osceola struggled stopping the run again last week, but Walnut Ridge is they're pretty good at running the football. But I'm gonna go with Newport. All right, here we go. Headed up to North Arkansas. We got Atkins, if I'm not mistaken, headed up to Salem. They upset Salem last year, I believe. This is a huge matchup for that conference. Salem just looks like they're just steamrolling everybody. Talk to me. Does Atkins, can they bring something to the table in this game, Daryl?
Well, they won last year 40-36.
Yeah.
I think was it. Yeah. Well, they won last week. Atkins won last week 43-0 over Mountain View. They're averaging about 50 points a game. They have 9 starters on offense and defense back from last year's team. So that's a good play here. They are traveling to Salem, though. I'm going to take that to another level there. Salem comes off a huge win last week. Jackson Taylor, Caden Brink, usual suspects here, Colton Smith, Ethan Birmingham, all those guys had huge games last week. This is a big, huge test for Salem. Atkins was actually picked third in this league
Yeah.
going into this, so this is kind of one of those circle games right here. But you're traveling to Salem, taking on Salem, and here's the big stat. Salem is only giving up 6 points a game. You know how we like defense. So they're about to smash Atkins in the face. So I'm taking Salem at home in this one. And the grass is starting to turn, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting close. All
The
right,
grass
Mouth.
is about to turn, baby.
Mouth, Salem's, man, they've been rolling. Atkins upset them last year, and this is a game that I've been told you better keep an eye on. So what's your thoughts on this one?
Payback's the Dickens.
Yeah.
I'm going to Salem proved me wrong the first week, but other than that, I've ridden them, and I'm going to keep riding the Salem.
They've riding the Salem Greyhounds. All right. Coach Wood, talk to us about this one. I mean, Atkins upset them last year. Salem goes on to win the state championship. When that happens, they usually circle that one, and you're a little bit more focused the next year. What's your thoughts?
It's for sure circled. Those kids don't forget that.
Nope.
And, took away a chance for undefeated season there. Salem, basically, it seems like the only thing that changed was the coach, but the play has not changed. And they're just rolling right now. And I would think they are the team to beat in 3A right now. So, Atkins has a talented team, and Mike can give them a little struggle there for a minute, but I think Salem can handle this one at home.
You're going with Salem. I'm gonna go with Salem too because they're just knocking everybody down, man. I tell you what, they've just been so impressive. I'm going with Salem also. All right, headed to the River Valley. This is kind of a similar game like Atkins and Salem here. You got Clinton at Dardanelle. Clinton gives Dardanelle issues every year, and big game. Dardanelle obviously ranked number 2 overall. Fimp in your poll. Coach DeFremo there. Clinton does an outstanding job. Talk to us about this one.
Well, here's Clinton for you. Offensively, they're in the Delaware wing team.
Yeah.
They beat Pottsville last week 41-24. They have a 3-year starter at quarterback, a 3-year starter at fullback, a 3-year starter at running back, and a 3-year starter at wingback. They're all back, and they got 3 starters up front on the offensive line. Offensively, they're really impressive. Zach Hunt Gonzalez is their fullback. He had 3 touchdowns past week. Brody Dufresne is the quarterback. He's a 3-year starter, like I said before. But Rylan Jones and Harold McNabb are kind of their big play guys. And they'll throw it every once in a while. They'll run some boots and all that good stuff. Defensively, they're only giving up 10 points a game, which is pretty impressive. But they go into Dardanelle, which is a completely different monster because where they struggle is on the back end defensively, Clinton does. And Dardanelle has so many weapons, it's crazy. They're 5-0, 2-0 in the conference. They beat Waldron this past week. Dardanelle did 56-0. They're averaging 46 points a game. They're only giving up 9 on defense because they got these guys playing both ways, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy cool. I mean, it's really neat. Creed Vega had 6 carries for 75 yards last week and 1 TD, and he threw for 230 yards through the air for 4 touchdowns. He had 4 tackles, which we always love the Coach Vega sending the stats too. That helps a lot. But CJ Kirsch is another big weapon with the Chatton boys. They're really good on offense and defense. I think Dardanelle's going to make a statement in this game too, by the way. I think this could get out of hand. Unless Clinton can hold on the ball and just grind it out, which I don't know. They did it last week against Pottsville. They're big up front too, but they're going to have to keep Dardanelle off the field. Special teams can be huge in this one. I'm going to take Dardanelle at home in this one.
Are you calling statement game?
I think it's a statement game.
Oh, they're going to get one.
I think Clinton's like, hey, yeah, we can do this, and hey, we can keep them off the field. But I think the Vegas got to get motivated. I mean,
that's true.
72-0. They got Waldron 56-0.
Yeah.
We've thrown 2 shutouts this past week. I'm sure Clinton. I mean, if I'm Coach Vega, I'm making up stuff. I'm calling the Clinton newspaper, just getting quotes from God knows who. Somebody down at that Huddle House down there. They meet down there at the Huddle House at Clinton.
All right, Mouth. Mr. Vega's been dominant all year long. Clinton's given them trouble in the past. Your thoughts?
Clinton can give them all the trouble they want, but Viva Vega will have the answers to them.
Viva Vega.
I'm going with Dardanelle Sand
The
Lizards.
mouse going with Dardanelle. All right, Coach Wood. You know Coach DeFrame, old UCA guy there. Dardanelle's been dominant.
Yeah, Coach Dufresne, see him a lot in summer, 7-on-7 stuff like that. Honestly, one of the best kept secrets as far as the coach in the state. He's just done a great job, been there forever. Son's a really, really good player. He told me this year he really, really liked this team that he had. So I think they can go to Dardanelle and can give Dardanelle some problems and do what Coach Fimple said, can play a little bit of keep away. But ultimately, I think that Dardanelle just has too much firepower. And I think it'll be a closer game, but I do think in the end, Dardanelle will be able to pull it out.
Well, I agree with you. I think Dardanelle's on a mission. They're head and shoulders better than everybody in that conference. But Coach DeFrame, he'll have them ready to go, and he'll have a plan. And Coach Vega and them know that. I mean, they know they better be strapped up and tight. But I'm gonna go with Dardanelle also. All right, head to South Arkansas. This could be possible elimination game here in the 05A South. You got Magnolia at Camden Fairview with Parkview, Lakeside, and Hot Springs having the year that they're having. This could be for a 4 seed. Got a lot of ball to play. Daryl, talk to us about this one.
Yeah, Magnolia lost last week to Lakeside 34-6. Jamaja Marshall, their tailback, he's over 600 yards on the year. Magnolia's just had trouble just kind of getting snake bit every once in a while. Lakeside made some big, huge plays. Of course, they can. They're capable of that, but they're definitely a big play team. But like you said, this is kind of a third, fourth play. I tell you what, though, Camden Fairview's playing really well right now.
Yeah.
Because I watched Camden Fairview and Texarkana. They beat them this past week, 42-23. Brody Dew, the quarterback, he's just kind of figuring out different ways to use all those weapons that he has. Their offensive line's really getting better. As they play defensively, they can get after the quarterback too. Camden can. They've got like 4 or 5 tailbacks they're playing. And they played this little sophomore this past week. He had 3 touchdowns. His last name's Thor. I love it. I mean, he's like a superhero back there. So Camden Fairview at home, like I said, coming off a big, huge homecoming win, matter of fact, this past weekend. I'm going to take Camden Fairview over Magnolia this week.
Taking Fairview. All right, Mouth, you got the Fighting Vaughns and Magnolia, big rival here. Coach Kirby's done a great job over at Magnolia, really got them playing well. Fighting Vaughn seems like they've woken up and they're ready to roll. Playoff implications here, huge.
This is a huge game. Loser league, could be loser league time, correct?
Yeah, it could be.
The Mouth is going with the Fighting Vaughns at Camden Fairview.
Oh, going with the Fighting Vaughns. All right, Coach Wood, Magnolia at Fairview. You know how it is, trying to only take 4 in that league. It's going to be somebody's got to stay home. This is huge as far as playoffs.
Yeah, the South Conference, there's a lot of firepower down there.
Yeah.
It's a really good conference. And Camden caught my attention when they played Lakeside so tough. Obviously, they got beat, but it was a really good game. And I know Lakeside's got a really good team. And like y'all said, it's crazy to say in week 3, it's almost a must win, but to make the playoffs, this will be huge to A, get the win, and B, have the tiebreaker over the other team. And I think in the end on this one that Camden has just a little bit too much for Magnolia. I'll go with Camden.
Going with Camden. I love what Coach Kirby's doing at Magnolia, and it's changed offenses and fitting his kids, but I think the Fighting Vaughns have been there, and I think they're playing real well, and I'm going to go with the Fighting Vaughns in Fairview. All right, man, oh, man, here we go, 6A East. The Professor, Sylvan Hills, coming off a huge win over Benton, huge upset, headed down to El Dorado. El Dorado's got beat last week by Marion, but they look like they're in the hunt, in the hunt here as far as in the 6A East, Daryl. Can anybody stop the Professor? That's the question, or slow him down?
Well, like you would think that, Marion came in and beat them last week. They'd be kind of hungover going, into the Benton game thinking, hey, they're still young. Yeah. One of those days they could care less. They went in there and kind of shocked them, ended up winning, on a last second run. That was the funny thing is, Tyler Hampton's their quarterback. He's had a phenomenal year. He's over 1,300 yards of through the air. He's probably almost 1,800 yards of total offense by himself. Isaiah Howe had the big 62-yard game-winning run up the sideline. E.J. Duckworth also had a big, huge run, 51-yard touchdown run. The Sylvan Hills actually ran for 337 yards. So they said hey, we're gonna play the pass here, and it did not work out real well because the professor just said, hey, we're gonna run it, and they did. They had 337 yards of rushing versus Benton this past week. Had a big, huge win there. El Dorado actually had the same kind of scenario. They had 200 yards rushing versus Marion at half. The Jeremy Samuels kid went over 100 yards running. They love to run the football and different people. They can also throw it over the top every once in a while, but they don't like to. And this is one of those games too. Like this could determine who wins this league.
Yes.
I mean, this with Marion slipping up here, gives Sylvan Hills a chance and El Dorado both a chance to kind of take a commanding lead here in the South. Sylvan Hills, you worry about the travel in this game and being in the big season.
Okay. We're gonna quit that. I ain't gonna lie to you. We've got on here and make excuses for people on the bus rides and all that. We're off that. There's no more excuse. This is conference time, trying to get in the playoffs. If we got to drive 4 hours and to get it done, we're gonna get it done. We're not making excuses anymore.
I like it. I like it.
We're
I
off
like
that.
it.
We're off.
And
that.
we're not buying Murphy's gas on the way down.
Yeah,
We're not buying any Murphy's gas. We're going to buy our own gas right up here. I'm taking Sylvan Hills because I believe in the professor.
Yeah, going the professor. Fim's taking the professor. All right, Mouth, the El Dorado, baby. A huge game for the Wildcats, and the professor has been unstoppable and his team.
Yep, it's going to be a really good game, but that bus ride just gives the professor.
Oh no, we're off that. We're off. We're not making excuses anymore.
Will you let me finish my statement? Will you let me finish my statement? You're jumping to conclusions. The professor's got a 2-hour bus ride that gives him more time to map things up.
Man,
there you go.
Plays.
That's what I'm talking about. Using your time management. Yes.
Time management. You jump to conclusions thinking I was going to blame it on the bus ride you don't bet against the professor.
There you go. Mouse taking the professor. Coach Wood, the professor at Sylvan Hills going 0-20 to be in the hunt for a 6A East Conference championship. El Dorado, a lot of tradition, hard place to play. Break this one down for us.
I think Sylvan Hills may be the story of the year, at least in our part of the state here in Central Arkansas. It's pretty amazing what Coach Kelly's done in such a short amount of time. And I got to see Sylvan Hills at our 7-on-7 this summer and knew there was something brewing there because they've got people all over the field that can run and play and do really good things. And of course, the thing about what Coach Kelly does, you just can't simulate that fast pace and those athletes coming at you, snapping the ball 5 seconds into the play clock. And that's really tough on anybody they play. And of course, El Dorado is a really good program and having a good year there. And this is a real important game. But I think that what Sylvan Hills is doing and with just so many weapons on the field, that fast pace, I think that they can get it done in a high-scoring game in El Dorado.
All right, all right. Let's get your opinion on this bus ride stuff. We've been making excuses on here. I mean, all year long about long trips. Talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, you're
everybody takes long trips. I don't want to hear that mess. Hey, we play in the 5A West. We don't have any short bus trips. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I'm going with Sylvan Hills. I hate to go against my Wildcats again this week, but the professor just has the answers, guys. Just has the answers. I'm going with Sylvan Hills in this one. All right, oh man. All right, we're gonna mix this one up. Daryl, I'm gonna go to you first on this one, then Coach Wood, and then to you, Mouth. Gonna mix it up because we get some insight on this one. This got Farmington, Tommy Tice going back home to Harrison, dominating performance last week, headed over to Greenbrier. Greenbrier just destroyed Clarksville. This could be for the conference championship if you really look at it. Still a lot of ball to play. Daryl, break this one down. Then Coach Wood come to you for some insight, a little bit more on this one.
Well, this past week I watched TD with Tice. Their little pregame show. I could see a little fire in the old goblin eye. You got the little goblin eye going on there. Coach Tice kind of fired up about going back to the place that he built. Farmington's off to a 4-1 lead. Season so far, 2-0 in the conference. They had a 37-14 win over Harrison this past week. Aiden Lester was 20 of 25 for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had one rushing touchdown. I think he's about back to about 95%. Maybe he's moving a lot better. I can tell you that. Jordan Logue and Ethan Richardson are their tailbacks. They kind of lean on a bunch. Dawson Keaton and J.J. Moore, big time on the outside. Those guys can get open rather quickly. And Farmington's defense is playing a lot better too, filling a lot of gaps. But Greenbrier,
Oh,
you
man.
know how excited I am about the Panthers. I like 'em. We just line up and you know what we're going to do. That's what's amazing. You know where it's coming right here. I mean, if you're a defensive tackle at Farmington right now, you better get something to eat. You better be eating like twice a day. Maybe hydrate up too. Greenbrier's come off a 49-7 victory over Clarksville. They're averaging almost 50 points a game. Jake Palmer's played awesome at quarterback for them. Gives them exactly what they need. He's over 1,200 yards through the air, 9 touchdowns on the year. Enoch Hassan is over 1,000 yards, almost 1,200 yards. Trenton Mosley gives them a chance on the outside. And the big guys up front just move bodies. Defensively, they're playing better and better.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job, especially against the quarterback run and Fitz. They're going to have to, keep a spy on Lester this week to make sure that because he gets outside the pocket, man, he is so dangerous. Not only can he throw it, but he can run it too. So this is a huge game. I think Greenbrier has to have this marked on their schedule right here. I mean, if you want to beat the man, you got to beat the man. And this is their chance. They get to play at home too. So I'm taking Greenbrier at home.
Oh, Fim's taking
Oh
Greenbrier.
yeah.
All right, Coach Wood, you don't have to give us our pick yet, but I want you to get and talk to us a little bit about this Greenbrier bunch. The quarterback's really playing well with people having to stack the box, getting one-on-ones out there. The running back is phenomenal, and the O-line's been phenomenal. Talk to us, and the defense has gotten better. Talk to us a little bit, insights, a little bit of Greenbrier football right now.
Well, obviously, it's been a really fun year so far, 5-0, and we've played really good football. And a lot of the individual folks you're talking about there, and we'll talk about. But on the year right now, I had Coach give me some stats yesterday. We have 1 turnover in 5 games.
Wow.
And we had 13 takeaways. When you're plus 12 in the turnover margin, you got a good chance to have winning football. Also, in 5 games, we've been sacked 2 times. So we've stayed away from the turnovers, the negative plays, and that's been really good for us. Enoch Hassan, I hard pressed to find another running back better than him in the state. He's definitely the best we've ever had at Greenbrier, but he's played 4 games this year and is averaging 232 yards a game. One of those he only got to play a half because we had the clock running on that game. So he's something to see. And our line does a really good job. I believe y'all had them as offensive line of the week last week, and they get him started, and then what he does after that is just sometimes amazing. It's just really fun to watch. But the thing about us is Jack Palmer, our quarterback, is just playing really, really solid right now. Like Coach Fimple said, he's on pace to break the school record for completion percentage. He's right at 76% right now. And I'll tell you, we've got really good receivers, but I know that several of those incomplete passes were drops. He could easily be over 80% throwing the football right now. And teams have to worry about Enoch, and they load the box. And we've got some receivers, Salter Mahan, Trenton Mosley, guys that can go and make plays for him, and we're getting some good matchups that we like because they're having to put an extra guy in the box. Against Russellville, they said, "Hey, you're not going to run the ball against us," and basically, went man on us. And Enoch only had 66 yards on 10 carries, but I think we threw for 270 yards in the first half. So far we've been able to counter what the defense has given us, and done a really good job with that. And obviously, Farmington coming in, that's a whole new monster because we're going to have to be able to score all those points and find a way to slow them down. But and the other thing is, you mentioned our defense, and we were a little bit concerned about our defense this year. We lost 10 starters from last year's team, and we played Warren early, and Warren, threw the ball over 400 yards on us. But then we kind of found our groove. Our defense played a really, really good game against Morrilton the other night. I was very impressed. I thought that game was going to be, last team with the ball, 58-56 game, and we shut them out in 3 of the 4 quarters. They scored 21 in the third quarter, but it was 25-0 at halftime. Got turnovers, made big open field tackles, and covered well. So the defense has probably been the most pleasant surprise, and then just the improvement of Jack as quarterback. He was decent for us last year, but he's doing really, really good this year.
Well, good deal. Hold that pick. Mouth, your thoughts on this one?
It's gonna be a barn burner.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
It's gonna be fantastic. But I'm gonna tell you, the mouth is going with Greenbrier because of their physicality on that offensive line. They'll just keep coming right at you and bloody in that nose.
Well,
Greenbrier.
going
Oh,
Greenbrier. You'll get a
oh,
phone call from Coach Tice on that one, buddy. I promise
yeah.
you. All
TD
right.
was
I like
Tyson's
it.
gonna mention you, Mal.
Yeah.
Uh, who's on the show with us?
Okay. I see what you're doing. Working the
I
people.
like the way you think, Mal.
Boy, man. All right, Coach Wood. I think I know your pick here, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and say it.
Well, I'm going to take the Blue Panthers for sure here in this one. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm a little bit concerned because I know Coach Tice really well.
He's gonna
And
call you
he's
too for picking against him.
he's the godfather of Arkansas football, and I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open
Yeah.
all week. And some old boys from Crooked Creek are liable to be down here with lead pipes just for me making this pick. 'Cause I know he's watching right now. He's keeping score. But I'll go with the Panthers here at home in a great game.
Going with the Panthers. I'm gonna go with Farmington because I don't want to get that bad phone call from Coach Tice. I'll just be honest with you. I'll take it for the team. I'm gonna be a coward here and take them. No, I think this thing could go either way. Greenbrier gets that run game started. I think the key matchup is what's the middle linebacker for Farmington and the Greenbrier running back. I think they're going to get matched up, and he's going to have to be able to make some tackles, and then Lester get loose. I'm going to go with Farmington because of I'm trying to save the show so Coach Tice doesn't blow it up.
Hey, I'm going to change my mind. I think the bus ride makes a real big difference in this game.
Good stuff. All right, up here in Northwest Arkansas, Battle of the Dale. You got Springdale at Harbor. Springdale's coming off a difficult loss against Bentonville West. Beat Heritage. Harbor's coming off a win against Heritage this past week. Played Bentonville week 4. Kind of on the same path. Talk to us a little bit about this one, Daryl.
Well, same records too. Springdale's 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the conference. Lost last week to West 49-12. Wilder Lahersey is their leading rusher. He's over 500 yards in that in the tee, and they just pound you inside. They're just having trouble, especially in the secondary. They're not good on the back end right now. And Harbor offensively is a really, really good football team. And I think Harbor's probably going to be one of these that might sneak around and beat somebody they're not supposed to beat. I think this week, they're coming off a 35-3 win over Heritage. They're averaging almost 40 points a game. Bryce Owens is their quarterback. He's 55 of 86 for 842 yards in the year. Reed McAllister can really run the football. He's over 500 yards. And then Trason Reith is their wide receiver that's over 500 yards. So Harbor doesn't have trouble moving the football at all. It's just defensively, can they hold up against Springdale and being physical in the box? And of course, this is a big, huge rival game.
Yeah,
these guys, they probably are at church sometime together today sometime. But Harbor's at home in this one, so I'm going to take Harbor at home.
Taking Harbor at home. All right, Mouth, your thoughts on this one? I mean, Coach Hobbs and them get that option going. Coach Dan Howard's getting that program in the right direction. Should be an interesting matchup.
It's got to be great for the city of Springdale to have both high school teams headed in the right direction. We can all see that they're both moving towards being real players in the 7A West in the very near future. That being said, I am going with the Harbor Wildcats.
Mouse going with the Harbor Wildcats. All right, Coach Wood, you've been in these rival games, man. Anything can happen. Throw records out the window and the whole deal. Springdale's been a little up and down. Harbor's had a difficult schedule. Both of them have. This ought to be an interesting matchup. Big deal for playoffs right here, seeding wise.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like that Camden Magnolia.
Yeah,
it may not
similar.
make the playoffs, but it may be the difference in playing somebody you can beat and playing somebody you can't beat in that first round. So I think that it is huge. And, I do think, like y'all are saying, both teams have kind of got their footing back over the last few years and are heading in the right direction. But I'm going to go with the Harbor Wildcats on this one.
This one right here is going to be interesting. Down in South Arkansas, you got Uncle Bo, the Warren Lumberjacks coming off a tight win over Monticello, head to Hamburg. And Hamburg, coming off a C.R. Crawford Player of the Week last week, is running the football, and they look like, and everybody told us,
Yeah.
these guys are going to be in the mix, and Uncle Bo's dominated that conference. Do we got somebody knocking at the door right now?
Yeah, we kept hearing about Monticello. We thought
Yeah.
Monticello was going to be the one to challenge. Well, it comes out to find out Hamburg is going to be the challenge. Warren actually beat Monticello last week 27-23, a heck of a football game. And actually, Warren goes to 4-1 on the year, 2-0 in the conference. Jackson Denton, like I said, that was the most comfortable that kid's looked in a long time. He played really well. Aaron Davis, the running back, Uncle Bo's running a lot of power. He's not scared down. And, of course, they'll throw it over the top to Blaze Fellows and JoJo Steen. But probably the biggest thing for them this week is Braxton Hembry, Anthony Ross, Lewis Woods, their middle linebacker,
Yep.
because they're going to have to stop the run. And if we know anything about Hamburg, they are huge up front and they are nasty up front. And Nikel Lewis, who's leading the state in rushing right now, he's over 1,300 yards on the season with 25 touchdowns. He's averaging 13 yards a carry behind that offensive line. So they know exactly what they're coming at you with that guy. He gets downhill quickly. Caden Thomas is their quarterback. He was 12 of 19 for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air last week against West Helena when they beat West Helena last week, 77-34. They're averaging 54 points on offense. They're doing it in so many different ways because everybody's loading the box. They're led in tackles by Aiden Robinson and Jace Harrington on the Hamburg side. And, Warren, Coach Hembry's going to get some people open. All right, there's going to be some open people, so it's anxious to see what the Lions secondary actually does in this game. Hamburg is at home. To be the man, you got to beat the man. This is a huge game here. Everybody's been circled all year long. I can only imagine what is going through Hamburg's mind with Warren Lumberjacks coming in there. But I'm going to say this. Better be careful what you wish for because Warren's coming with the W in this one. The Lumberjacks are swinging the axe, baby. They're swinging the axe this week. Swinging the axe.
All right, Fimp's going with the Uncle Bo and Warren Lumberjacks. Mouth, you were just at Hamburg this past week. Coach Johnson's got that program going in the right direction. Uncle Bo coming to town, who's dominated that conference.
I would say this. Hamburg is they're playing with extreme amount of confidence right now. Nikel Lewis, there's not a better football player in the state of Arkansas running the ball. That being said, the Lumberjacks have been in this position before, and they won the conference championship a lot of times. For Hamburg needs to make sure they're not intimidated by Warren from the beginning of the game. That being said, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and I'm going with the Warren Lumberjacks.
Oh, Mouth's going with Uncle Bo also. All right. Coach Wood, you've seen Warren live. The Greenbrier Panthers played them week 0. This Hamburg bunch is they're playing lights out right now.
Yeah, I have not seen Hamburg, but obviously saw Warren there in week 0. Super talented. Those 2 receivers, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better set of receivers in the state of Arkansas. Those dudes can go. Quarterback played well in our game, but it looks like it's playing better each week, and it's a really great story because he broke his leg the year before at Arkansas or at Greenbrier, and it was a bad deal. And it was really great to see that kid come back and having the year that he's having right now after what he went through with that broken leg. But it does seem like Bo and them, they did not have much of a running game at all when they played us, but it seems like they're getting their running game going a little bit. And I'm going to have to disagree with Coach Fimple on the Bo has to stop the run. Bo's never had to stop anybody. They don't worry about stopping anybody. They just got to outscore, right? But I do think there'll be a lot of yards rushing on one side and there'll be a lot of yards passed on the other side. But like y'all have said, when the champ comes to town, there's always a little something in other people's mind. And that's in the back of their mind. And I think Hamburg can hang with them, but I think in the end, Warren knows how to get it done. So I'll go with the Lumberjacks.
Coach Wood going with the Warren Lumberjacks. I'm going to go. I hadn't picked this one. I'm just going to tell you. But I'm going to go with Uncle Bo. But I am extremely worried.
Yeah.
I'm extremely worried. I think Hamburg has the formula to beat them. They're at home, but I'm going to go with Uncle Bo because I believe in Uncle Bo, and he's done it many times in the Warren Lumberjacks. All right, here we go. Woo, boy, up here in Northwest
It's like
Arkansas.
the new kids on the
Oh,
block right
I'm telling you, man. What are you talking about? I mean, golly,
here. It's
big.
like the
It,
new kids on the block
it
right here.
is.
Yeah.
Big school game of the week, Bentonville West at Rogers. Before we get into this, let's go ahead and have Coach Brian Pratt on, the head coach from Bentonville West.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get into it, Coach. You guys have just been on fire. I mean, I talked to you in the preseason a little bit. You had a young team last year, and you felt really good. You guys, week 0 go into Greenwood, and we've talked about it on the show, the old Phantom. Can still look for that holding call down there somewhere in Greenwood, but it happened. But you guys, got in conference play and dominated Fayetteville week 4, and then last week against Springdale really came out. I mean, put a lot of points. Quarterback, awesome performance. Special teams, big. I mean, looks like you guys are hitting on all cylinders right now in all 3 phases. Talk to me a little bit about your bunch.
Well, I'm really proud of where they're at. It's the same group of kids that were 0-6 last year, and when you're starting all those sophomores and freshmen, it wasn't real fun back then. But when the season ended, we as a staff really sat down, and me as a head coach sat down and looked at our program of when we started it, how it was and where it's at now. And when we started it, we probably we're coaching a little different than we have now that we're a little bit more established. And, we kind of went in and changed some stuff. We kind of went in and looked at ourselves as a staff and looked at our program, polled our kids a lot, polled our parents a lot, polled our coaching staff, and just tried to find some things to try to make it better. And I think that's one thing that head coaches, this is my 30th year coaching, 19 as a head coach. And you kind of get old school and you think I don't need to change anything. And to me, that's when you start going downhill a little bit. And, so we had to look at some things and we made some changes and did some stuff that we haven't done in the past. And I think that went on in the offseason. And I think obviously the kids coming back after, all of them being back, almost our whole team was back, and they really bought into what we were trying to do. Our strength and conditioning coach, Ben Woodger, is phenomenal. This is the 2nd year he's been with us, and you can just see a drastic change in the confidence and the way our kids walk around because they're so much bigger, faster, stronger than they were. And, a lot of credit goes to him. Just a lot of credit goes into the kids buying into what we do. We don't do X's and O's a whole lot different. We just have kids that really have bought in. And when you watch us, just the effort of play is to me, when I watch our tape, in years past compared to now, it's just the effort and the physicality that our kids play with. And they're having fun. I mean, winning's fun. And, they bought into what we do. And like I said, I've been doing this for a really long time, and usually when the football team is doing really well and you have a great start to the school year, that usually feeds over into the culture of our school, and I think that's happening right now. It's a great time to be a Bentonville West Wolverine, and our conference is brutal. I mean, you look at the top, other than Brian, I think we have 4 teams that are ranked in the top 5 or something like that. And, so it is tough. And we got another tough one this week. And, every week we go out there, there's a chance that if you don't play well, you can get beat. And, this week will be no different.
Well, no doubt. And another part of this, congratulations, 150 wins this past Friday night. So I know you've tweaked a few things, but you knew a few things along the way also, if you got that many wins. Congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. That just a testament of our programs that we've had. I've only been a head coach at 2 places, in Callister, Oklahoma, and here. And, it's tough when you start a program up. You start you take them about, McAllister, we were averaging about 10 wins a game or 10 wins a season. And come here, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a higher level of football, and you start a program from scratch. It's tough, but, it's just a testament of our kids and our coaching staff and the administration support that they give us just all around. I get a lot of credit for it and probably shouldn't because without these coaches and these kids and the administration, it wouldn't be anything.
Well, don't be so humble. You've done a good job on the way too. Well, let's get into it a little bit. You hit the conference a little bit. I mean, it looks like things have shifted. Now we still got a lot of ball to play, but the West. I mean, top 5, 6 teams in this league can beat anybody. You've got a difficult task. I mean, you've got Rogers going over to Rogers. They're coming off a huge emotional win at Fayetteville, block an extra point to win it, getting over that hurdle. I believe, I think somebody put it's the first time they've beaten Fayetteville since 2004, something crazy. Rogers is geared up for this year, but you guys right there, offensively and defensively, kind of look like you're just mirroring each other all the way through this deal. Talk to us a little bit about what you've got to do going on the road, and the problems they present.
Well, I have a lot of respect for Coach Harbison and the way that him and his staff put together this team, and it's pretty phenomenal with the athletes they have. And I had my son played quarterback for me in McAllister, and he was about 5'6", 5'7", about 140 pounds, and you couldn't touch him. And it kind of reminds me of Jeff. Jeff's a little bit more explosive than Caden was, but it's fun to watch that. And so I've always respected Jeff, and he's a phenomenal football player. And I look at them and think if you come to this game, you're definitely probably going to get your money's worth, as there'll be a lot of people coming here because, we're scoring a lot of points. They're scoring a lot of points. Two great quarterbacks at the high school level, and just teams that play hard. And that's what high school football is about. I mean, it's not about going to Mercy Rule and somebody. It's about playing these games where it's going to come down to kind of like their deal against Fayetteville. I mean, one play, a good friend of mine, Bill Blankenship, told me once that high school football games come down to 4 or 5 plays. And unfortunately, you don't know which plays those are. And we call them game changers. And I make a cut up every week of our 5 game changers for that week. And, it's a big deal for our kids to get, be a part of the game changing. We've kind of made a big deal of it. But, man, Jeff Regan and Lindsey, they are some game changers, man. Every time they touch a ball, they're so dynamic with it, and they got a chance to score every time they touch it. So if I was coming to this game and I wasn't involved with it, man, this would be one that I would definitely find a way to be able to watch, just because it's what high school football is about.
Well, no doubt everybody's going to get their $5 worth. Let's talk about their defense a little bit. You guys been hot. Dale Williams, the legendary defense coordinator for Rogers, always has a good plan. They're always sound. Me just outside looking in, looks like turnover is going to be the big key, because both of your kicking game, they ran a kick back. You did last week. You've got a great kicker. They've got a great kicker. So, the matchups you're looking for, is it a turnover here or there? I mean, what are we looking at here, man?
And that's, my keys to game everybody ask always is turnovers. You look at whatever level you get, be able to be positive in your turnovers for the year. And, you look at the national championship and the NCAA, and usually those people that are in the playoffs have an unbelievable turnover margin. And so, we've done a pretty good job of protecting the ball all year. We've got to continue to try to do that. So we spend a lot of time on special teams. I can, on film, you can tell they do this, coach football teams, and it's gonna come down to who makes plays. And you got to make sure you protect the ball, and you got to be able to tackle on open field. And whether it's them or us, I'm sure we're both preaching the same thing. Is what a great last couple of games we've played them. I mean, 2 years ago we went over there and we won with 11 seconds left with the fade hitch and go in the corner of the end zone to win it. They came back the year before over here. It was a really, really close game, and I don't see anything different, and I think it's going to be just like it was last week at Fayetteville. If I had to pick, I would say it's going to come down to turnovers and our kids just just playing hard. Oh yeah, ask our kids to play hard, and this isn't a playoff game, but it's a very very important game in the whole district standing.
Well, it's very, very vital, and people, you're getting a taste of it. You, you've had a taste. This already. Question: How? And we're talked about that. How do you get your team? You're kind of on a roll, and everything's been real positive. How do you keep your team focused? They'll be ready this week, obviously against Roger. But how do you keep that focus every week? Because, I mean, there's a lot of great teams in this league.
There's a lot of good teams. When you start winning, we refer to our kids like Nick Saban did as this rat poison, and stay away from the rat poison. And we talk to them daily about it. The social media and all the day and age of high school football is crazy right now, with all the barstool accounts and all that. We're trying to get them to stay away from it and focus on us, because at the start of the year, no one really. I mean, people thought we'd be better, but obviously they didn't think we would be playing like we are right now. And so we got that way by playing really hard and doing the little things right, and just continue to do that. And if we do, we'll continue to play well. And we start letting the rat poison get into us, and that's when we get some problems. And then injuries. We lost Braden Nash a couple of weeks ago to a Achilles problem, and he's going to have surgery in the next couple of weeks. And so that's always tough, man. There's coaches with tears on the sideline when that happened, because he's such a leader of our team. Voted by, he's a captain, he's on the Unity Council. And you hate to see that, but you also love to see that it isn't just about playing for him. It's about leading these other kids and trying to make everybody better. And that's when you know that you got the right guy leading your program.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I'll let you get back in the lab over there. You got a lot of work to do. Find some touchdown plays, man. And I know you'll find a few. Good luck to you, and we'll have you on again down the road.
Yeah. I appreciate
you
you guys.
can see Coach Pratt's very
and
confident in his team.
Thanks,
coming off 2 big victories, one at home against Fayetteville, and then obviously this past week against Springdale. Rogers coming off a huge win at Fayetteville, and we talked about it. First time since 1994, for crying out loud. They've got weapons everywhere. Break this one down. I mean, you're looking for a bye week here, guys. I mean, playoff seeding for this one's possible conference championship still out there.
Yeah, and congratulations, Coach Pratt. That was his 150th win last week at Springdale. Bentonville West coming here 4-1. The loss to Greenwood's the only one on their schedule, which pretty questionable there. But anyway, 2-0 in the conference play. They're averaging about 43 points a game. Last week Trey Thompson put on a show again. He's over 1,200 yards through the air. He had 330 yards of total offense against Springdale this past week. Ryan Adjam is their wide receiver, who's just explosive on the outside. They really turned to their running game against Springdale. VJ Warren, the sophomore running back, that's kind of taken over there. He had 310 yards of total offense versus Springdale. He also returned the opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown. Against Springdale, he had 12 carries for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns, a 58-yard run and a 17-yard run. He had 5 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown, so they use him in the passing game too. Coach Pratt's I think he was he was talking about this guy's kind of taking over the load because they had one running back get hurt this year, and he's kind of taking over the load and trying to make it easy on him. But then I noticed he's running him out there on every special team. So I don't know how.
Yeah,
we're not
over
taking
the kickoff.
The guy looked like a jet. BJ Warren's is his name. Rogers 5-0, 2-0. This game is at home too. They beat Fayetteville after blocking a PAT 56-55. They had 522 yards of total offense last week. However, though, defensively they gave up 603 yards of total offense. So that's kind of a scary thought there. But Fayetteville's pretty explosive, a lot like Bentonville West on the offensive side too. They're averaging about 56 points a game on offense. It's tons of people. Hunter Dickey is the one that blocked the PAT.
Yeah.
Probably the first time that he gets to hear his name with a huge play made there. Jeff Regan had 3 touchdowns rushing last week, like we talked about, and he was our player of the week this past week. Xander Burke, Titus Kramer had a huge run, a 94-yard kickoff return also in special teams. Braxton Lindsey, does what he does. He had a 49-yard touchdown catch from Regan in that game against Fayetteville. And they use him on defense too. And they're not scared to use anybody on defense. To tell you the truth, Rogers is one of those guys. And like I said, they have had 5 different people throw a touchdown
I
pass.
know. I
I mean,
know.
it's crazy how they use those.
It's
I mean,
unbelievable.
yeah, you want to talk about a mad scientist? That Harbison's a mad scientist. Rogers at home here, huge game for Bentonville. Like Coach Pratt's done an amazing job this year of just getting over the hump and not being afraid to play anybody, and he's done it, and he's pulled off some huge victories here. But I think Rogers is on a mission. I think they want to win the West. I think that's their goal the whole entire time. They probably won't say that, but I think that's their mission right here. And I'm going to take Rogers at home in this one. And this, we're going to say it's going to be a shootout, but you know what it's going to be. It's going to be like 17-14 or something crazy like that. I'd be amazed, though, but both teams can score.
They can't score, and I don't think it's 17-14, man. There's just too many weapons. I mean, it might be, but I just don't see it. All right, Mouth, let's talk. You've been over to see Coach Pratt. You're going this week to Rogers. I mean, these guys here have just been phenomenal all year. What set them up and they knocked them down. Talk to us about this one.
It's going to be a fascinating game. Donnie and Mark Wahlberg are going to be driving the bus for the new kids on the block from Bentonville West.
Yeah.
And they're going to be singing Hanging Tough.
There you go.
So that being said, a lot of points will be scored in this one. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Probably 52-50, 48-52, something like that. But Rogers is on a mission this year. Rogers wants to prove that they're ready to take that next step into the top 3 in the 7A West, and I fully expect in a tight one. I'm going with the Rogers Mounties.
Going with the Rogers Mounties. Coach Wood, 2 dominant offenses, 2 great coaches. Defensively, both of them. You got Dale Williams on one side, and Bentonville West has been sneaky good on defense all year.
Seems like both.
Is it turnovers? I mean, something's got to give here a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to come down to. Who makes that big defensive play out of all this scoring. Yeah. I agree with the Mouth. You're going to set the over under at 100 and probably take the over. But with that one defensive stop, that interception, or somebody gets that 2-for-1, scores right before half and gets that second half kickoff, could be the difference in this game. Crazy for us old heads to be talking about Rogers talking about a conference championship. Yeah. That's just something that wasn't a deal back then. So those guys have done a really, really good job up there getting that program up at the top of this conference. But I think Rogers is the better team. I would be concerned after such an emotional win last week and the way they won it, beating Fayetteville, the big brother type team. To me, it's a lot harder to get your team ranked back. It's way more of an issue than the bus thing is getting your team to come down off of a high and focus in on, hey, we just beat Fayetteville. Now we got to turn around and play this Bentonville West team that might be just as good as Fayetteville and get back focused. But it sounds like those guys have got it going on and got it going the right direction. So I'll give the slight edge to Rogers at home.
Oh, Rogers at home. Guys, I'm going to give some experience to you guys here, coaching that conference for a long time. I'm going to go with Bentonville West, and I'm going to tell you why. And you hit on it a little bit, Coach Wood, is getting back up. But the physical matter that game was played in last week, and you seen guys grabbing shoulders, guys coming on and off the field, those things really affect you the next week. Bentonville West comes out of Springdale unscathed, should be fresh and ready to go, and that's the reason I'm going Bentonville West. I think Rogers coming off that physical game is going to be hard to get back to that level. If they can, they got a really good shot to win, but I'm going with Bentonville West on that one. All right, guys, let's recap real quick. Daryl, Another big week. What's a couple? I mean, there's all every you want to look at every one of them, but what's a couple games that stand out to you?
Well, we got Rogers Bentonville West
Yeah,
first. We got Sylvan Hills and El Dorado, and then we've got Greenbrier Farmington and Warren and Hamburg. I
yeah.
mean, you gotta get one of them split screen YouTube things going. That's what we gotta get. Then you gotta get to watch all four of those games, man. You can't be at the same place. I mean, that's awesome. That's an awesome week. And like I said, every one of them is going to be either playoff. You're either going to win the league or not. I mean, it's going to be the first two in most of those games. So you got a chance right there to be. I mean, right in the mix of everything.
Your thought process on my pick with West, and I'm gonna hit everybody. I mean, you've been there,
Oh
the
yeah, they've
physical
been yeah,
aspect
yeah,
of
no, yeah, I get it. Yeah, Bentonville West had the pads off at halftime. I mean, it's a
it. Yeah,
huge difference. But
it's.
like I said, I don't think Rodgers has talked about anything but winning the league.
I
I'd
agree.
be hard pressed to think that they don't think that they should win the league,
I agree.
especially after last week. So, momentum of winning last week, that's kind of huge too. Now
Yeah,
you got some confidence. You don't want your kids to be overconfident, but sometimes I think that's overrated. I would want my kids to be a little overconfident.
yeah.
I don't want them to have a little swag to them when they come in there. You know, you you want to bring a hammer, or you don't. I mean, one or the
Yeah,
other. I think Rogers has got something to prove, a little chip on their shoulder the whole time. I'm sure that Coach talks about, hey, when you guys were sophomores, remember what happened to you. I
yeah,
took you and you got your nose bloodied all the time,
yeah,
64-0, if I remember right, one time in the playoffs. So I
yeah.
think that he's got plenty of motivation to get those guys healthy by that game time.
No
But
doubt.
it's going to be a heck of a game.
Mouth. Quick recap. A couple one you're looking forward to.
The one I'm looking forward to, Farmington and Greenbrier,
Yeah,
coach. Looking forward to that one. And I'm going to tell you, Rogers and Bentonville West is the game that fascinates me the most. I mean, Rogers is coming off just a physical game, and they won that game. So the big question there is, Rogers is coming off that emotional high of winning the game, but are they going to be physically healthy enough? Will they be able to bring on that same physicality they had last week?
yeah.
That's the question.
That's no doubt. Coach Woods, obviously Farmington Greenbrier. You're going to be there. Give me a couple other ones you're looking forward to. You're going to be checking scores in the middle of that one.
Well, off this list, that Sylvan Hills El Dorado game, I
Yeah,
think that's really interesting. The contrast of styles and the high scoring offenses and two really good head coaches playing down in South Arkansas. I think that could go on Coach Fimple's quad box he's talking about too.
Yeah.
And if we're watching those, we're not going to get to see the news because they're all still going to be playing at 10:30.
yeah,
As they're averaging about 120 points a game. But I think that's an interesting game. The Clinton game interests me
me
with
too.
the contrasting styles there too. Of the coach Dufresne and them can play a little bit of keep away and keep the Vega kid off the field and see if they can keep it close, give themselves a chance in the fourth quarter. And then obviously for us, we're really excited about this Farmington game. It's gonna be fun and I don't know the exact score last year, but it was something like 31 to 14,
Yeah,
and we had some chances and didn't take advantage of them. And that Lester kid, he's unbelievable. You think you got that dude contained, and you're usually wrong because he just takes off and he's kind of unorthodox the way he can run around, and he's fun to watch when you're not playing him. When you're playing him, he gives defensive coordinators nightmares, and obviously our running back gives defensive coordinator nightmares. So I think it's just going to be a really fun game, and I think it'll come down to the wire, and it'll have a lot to do with the conference championship. It's definitely not the conference championship. There's still several other teams in our conference that'll have some say in that, but it will give somebody a big leg up for the 5A West Conference Championship.
and no doubt, I'm interested in Sosel and Newport game just so we can figure out what's going on in that
Yeah.
league. And I'm with you. The Clinton Dardanelle, just contrast styles. Springdale Harbor, where they're at, and obviously the and I'm all over the Bentonville West Rogers game, the Warren Hamburg game. I mean, is there going to be a changing of the guard here? And I think this is the most Warren's been pushed in that conference in a long time. So we'll see how it goes. Well, guys, Before we get off here, let's thank our sponsors one more time. The Coaches Pod Network is powered by Lindsey and Associate. Our Player of the Week is sponsored by CR Crawford Construction. Uh, Other sponsors: Sports Clips, Mandatory Lending, The Collective and Ben's Apartment, Hootens, and the Pigs brand, and we're the official podcast of the ARFCA. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Daryl Fimple, the Mouth Brent Bender, and our guest picker, Coach Steve Wood, we'll see you next time.